Coming to get you, Bobber.
Hi guys, my name is Barry and welcome back to the channel. Over the next few weeks I'm going to be doing a review for every Final Destination movie, and at the end of it I'm also going to be ranking the entire franchise yet again, because I did rank it before, and also I'm going to be ranking all the opening premonitions as well, so look out for that. So today we're going to be starting with the first Final Destination. Final Destination is a 2000 horror movie directed by James Wong, and it stars Devon Sawa, Ali Larter and Kerr Smith. I will mention this in every Final Destination review guys, but this is an older movie, so there's going to be spoilers in this review. Alex Browning is among a group of high school students readying themselves for a trip to Europe when he suddenly has a premonition that airplane will crash. He screams to warn the others, but instead is thrown off the plane. This was the year 2000 this came out, and at this point we were at the absolute peak of the teen slasher movie, and when I saw the trailer for this film I thought it looks like a teen slasher movie with a little bit of a twist to it, and I think it was a welcome change from everything that we saw. At this point in time the slasher movies were still up and coming and they were still big business, but this just felt like a welcome change for the horror genre. If we start with the cast for this review, I think what they done well with this cast was they brought in old and new actors. I don't mean age wise, I mean like experience wise. We had people like Devon Sawa and Sean William Scott, who was just off the back of the success of American Pie. So we had these established actors that we knew the faces of, we knew movies that they were in before, so we got familiarised with these people, not just as the cast, but as actors themselves. And then when you mix that in with people that maybe you've not seen before, like Ali Larter, I'd never seen her in anything before, but she was great in this. It just gave us a good mix of old and new actors. I even loved the little cameo by Tony Todd, who makes other cameo appearances in the series. This movie also came before the major use of CGI. Yes, there was some CGI usage in this film and other horror films, but less so than the future Final Destination movies, which we'll obviously get into, but there was less use of CGI in this one and a lot of practical effects were used. That's probably another reason why the kills in this, although they were decent kills, they weren't as creative as other kills you would see in other horror movies. But I think what makes the kills in this film good and creative was the build up, because we didn't really know what was going to happen with these kills, because it was the first of its kind as well for the series. The build up, you were like, oh, that's going to happen to this person, and it turns out that didn't happen to that person. They died a different way. Part of the story was the characters, of course, and I think that the character development was great. I got behind every character in this film, even the people that you didn't really like Kerr Smith's character. He was written to be a hated character, but and a very interesting hated character as well. So even when it came to the point where he might die, you cared for him, even though you thought he was an idiot all the way through the movie. You cared for him, and that's a good sign of good character development. The thought of death coming after you was scary enough, but the way that they portrayed death here was a mystery, and I loved that, because we didn't see death. We didn't see him as this grim reaper. We didn't see any form of death, only kind of shadowy kind of movements around the house, for example. That was very eerie, and I'm glad that they stuck with that, because I wouldn't want to see a character develop out of this death. I like the fact that death was all around us, and that was the scariest part. This was obviously the first film in the franchise, so the thought of having a continuous opening scene with a premonition was new to us. We didn't know that was obviously going to be a trend, but when I first watched the movie I didn't know I was watching a premonition at the beginning, and then when everybody died I was like, what? Are we going to get a new cast of characters? But no, it was a premonition, and I thought it was incredible. It was unique because it was a one-time thing. It's not a unique story because these types of movies have happened before, but not just in the way that they've done it here. They've brought teenagers into this one to make it like a teen slasher with death after them. But I just loved the way that they introduced this premonition. And I just didn't see it coming at all. Even watching this today, it's good watching it with somebody who's not seen it before, because you sit and look at them and think, right, I want to see their reaction to this this premonition, and their reaction anytime I watch it with somebody who's never seen it before, the reaction that they have is the exact same as I had back in 2000. I mentioned it before, even though I was still on a high with all these slasher movies that were coming out at the time, because I loved slasher movies, especially the late 90s slasher movies. Even though I was still on a high from that, after seeing Final Destination, immediately after it finished, I thought, wow, that was amazing. And I'd never really thought about slasher movies after it. Obviously, I watched slasher movies after it, but I opened up my eyes and I thought there's more to horror than just slasher movies. And Final Destination was a perfect example. It brought a good element of having those teenagers in a dangerous situation, because I was used to that at this point in time, teenagers getting killed by people, and it was a slasher movie. So it still had those elements that I was familiar with, so I was eased into the movie. But when it introduced death as a character, as the killer, I thought, this is new, this is great, something that I had never seen before personally, and I loved it. And even to this day, watching this movie today, I absolutely love this film. It's now, what, 21 years old, and a lot of movies from the year 2000 or around about that time date badly, but I don't think this movie has dated at all. Yes, obviously the CGI that was very sparsely used was dated. The look of the film was pretty dated as well, but everything else was pretty top notch. Watching it now, not much else has dated at all. So you could watch this with someone who, when you watch a film, you kind of tend to watch newer movies, but you could easily watch this with someone who's never saw it before and be confident that they will like it and not think it's dated at all. And I think that's the case with Final Destination. So what are your guys' thoughts on Final Destination? Don't talk about the other movies yet, because you'll all have a chance to do that when I do a review for them all, and you can maybe rank them after that as well with me. But what are your thoughts on the first Final Destination movie? As always, leave your comments down below, and I'll see you soon. Bye bye.
But the plane, it's gonna blow up, it's gonna blow up.